When the weather starts to get cooler and the nights draw in, the urge for comfort food really hits. Tasty, warming casseroles and indulgent puds. In front of me, I've got 4 delicious autumnal recipes, so why not click on the one that takes your fancy and I'll show you how I made it. This hearty and warming beef casserole is even tastier with colourful and sweet butternut squash. First, preheat your oven to 180 degrees C, that's 160 in a fan oven, gas mark 4. In a flame-proof casserole dish, heat 2 tablespoons of olive oil over a low heat. Add 750 grams of cubed braising beef and fry for a few minutes to brown all over. Don't forget to wash your hands after handling raw meat. Then remove from the pan and add 1 sliced red onion, a clove of crushed garlic and cook for 5 minutes. Turn off the heat and add 25 grams of plain flour, a teaspoon of mustard powder and mix in well to absorb all the oil. Slowly blend in 500 millilitres of beef stock and 100 millilitres of red wine, stirring until smooth. Turn the heat back on and bring to the boil. Reduce the temperature and simmer for 1 minute. Now place the meat back in the dish, along with 4 stalks of thyme, a bay leaf and 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce and mix well together. Cover the pan and place in the oven for 1.5 hours. Butternut squash is really delicious in stews and casseroles, and in some countries it's referred to as butternut pumpkin. Now to start, I'm going to remove the skin using a potato peeler. Then de-seed and cut it into cubes. Add to the casserole, stir well, and return to the oven for an additional 30 minutes. Wow, the smell coming off that is so good. And there you have it, beef and butternut squash pot. Comfort food doesn't get much better. So that was beef and butternut squash pot. Select another recipe or wait patiently and I'll show you how to make these delicious clementine trifles. Lightly spiced gingerbread and zesty clementines combine perfectly to give a real twist on the classic trifle. This recipe serves 8 people. So first of all, I'm going to peel 4 clementines. You'll need 12 in total and you can use satsumas too. Remove as much of the white pith as possible, cut in half and set aside. Juice the remaining clementines and pour the juice into a small saucepan. Add 50 grams of butter and 8 tablespoons of light brown sugar. Then heat gently until the sugar has dissolved and the butter melted. Bubble the mixture for 3 to 4 minutes, stirring constantly until thick and syrupy. Turn off the heat and carefully add your fruit cut side facing down to the pan. Cover and set aside for 10 minutes. What I've got here is a 238 gram spiced ginger loaf cake. It's really moist and it's going to be a delicious base to our trifle. So first I need to cut it into cubes, then divide between individual serving glasses. And of course you could use 1 large serving dish and make a big trifle. So now I need to remove the fruit from the syrup and spoon half the syrup over the sponge to cover. Now I'm going to make the cinnamon cream topping. Add to a bowl 250 grams of lighter mascarpone and 200 grams of Greek-style yogurt, 2 tablespoons of runny honey and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Mix together well before spooning over the ginger cake base. Finally, arrange your fruit cut side facing up and drizzle with some of the remaining syrup. Now these can be eaten straight away or you can chill them in the fridge for 20 minutes. So there you have it, gingerbread and clementine trifle. If you've still got room for more, I can show you another. The combination of sweet apples, light crisp waffles and indulgent toffee will have everyone asking for more. Start by peeling and coring 8 Braeburn apples and cut into 8 wedges. Then in a large oven-proof dish, melt 100 grams of unsalted butter over a medium heat. And add to that 100 grams of dark soft brown sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, a pinch of salt, and stir this together before adding your apple pieces. Gently toss the ingredients together and cook for 10 minutes until the apples are starting to soften in the dark caramel sauce. Then stir in 75 millilitres of double cream. Once the sauce begins to bubble and begin to thicken, turn off the heat. Meanwhile, preheat your oven to 180 degrees C, 160 in a fan oven or gas mark 4. Now to make the cream mix to coat the waffle pieces, place 1 tablespoon of brown sugar into a bowl with 75 millilitres of cream and 75 millilitres of milk, either whole or semi-skimmed. Add 1 egg and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract or the seeds from half a vanilla pod. Whisk this together. Now you'll need 12 toaster waffles and tear each one into generous chunks. Dunk each piece into the cream mixture until just soaked, and do this quickly as you don't want them to go soggy. Shake off the excess and place in the dish so each one slightly overlaps and you're covering all the apples. Place in the oven for 20 minutes or until the waffle topping is golden. Once cooked, we're going to let that stand for just a few minutes, and to finish off I want to mix a teaspoon of icing sugar and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and dust this over the pudding. And that is ready to serve, and it looks divine. You could serve it with some vanilla ice cream or maybe just some double cream. There you have it, toffee apple waffle pudding. So that was toffee apple waffle pudding. But enough of me waffling, why not click for another? This delicious creamy parsnip soup is perfect when you're in the mood for something warm and hearty. So to start, melt 25 grams of butter in a pan over a medium heat and add 1 finely chopped onion. Cook for 5 minutes until the onion has softened. Then chop 2 cloves of garlic and add to the pan and cook for another 5 minutes. Meanwhile, peel and chop 1 kilogram of parsnips into chunks and add these to the pan. Okay, so now I'm going to add 1.5 litres of vegetable stock. Simmer for 20 minutes until the parsnips are soft and tender. Remove from the heat, allow to cool for 5 to 10 minutes before transferring to a blender. Add 1.5 tablespoons of sherry vinegar, or you could use white wine vinegar. Crumble 150 grams of Stilton cheese and put 100 grams into the blender. Then whiz all of this together until nice and smooth. Season with a little salt and pepper and return to the saucepan. And to give the soup a rich, silky texture, I'm going to add 100 millilitres of single cream. Then just heat the soup through and serve in warmed bowls. Drizzle about 10 millilitres of cream into each bowl, a little of your reserve Stilton, and garnish with a few vegetable crisps. Warming, rich and comforting. That's silky parsnip and Stilton soup. If you're hungry for more, select another recipe. Autumn's here.